Make sure you're subscribed with notifications on. I did the watch party with the homie Carlos, and then when it's time for these breakdowns, I got to get the DC aficionado Prime. What's good with you, man?
What's good, people? What's good? What's good? What's good, Sil? Appreciate you having me, man.
Hey, man, the DCU has begun, so you already know I had to hit you up about this, man. But they premiere with 2 episodes, right? It's a 7 episode season, and we heard the reviews before. People was like, "Yo, this is a great introduction," but they only gave us 2 episodes, like 20 minutes each. Prime. I was a little, I don't want to say disappointed. I was just like, "Wait a minute, man!" Like, what?
I mean, I'm not disappointed with it because 23 minutes apiece. They're 23 minutes. And I would say the only thing I would say, well, I'm not disappointed, but I would tell you, those 23 minutes go by so quick, and you get into it, and then it cut off.
Yeah, that's what
You know what I mean? That 23 minutes. I thought it would have been like 30, 35, but they did 23 minutes.
The
But
story was building up every episode, right? Like it was building up, and it was just like, okay, that's it. It's like, oh,
yeah. But I get the model of what they're doing. I think a lot of platforms are going to do that. They're not just going to throw all the episodes out at once, because once what people doing is that they'll probably get the subscription, they'll watch everything, and then they probably won't even watch nothing else and get rid of it after that. So they want to make sure everybody stay, subscribe to the actual to the app.
Exactly. This is a smart business model, like week to week, and they got us talking already because they did hint a few things, and that's kind of what we're going to do today. Kind of break down a few just moments of the first 2 episodes. Again, it's not a lot of time, so it won't have a lot to break down because a lot of it is straightforward. But off top, because I watched it as soon as it dropped, Prime, right? I was the fool that stayed up to 3 a.m. in the morning, right? and watched the episodes, right? But because I was just excited to see the beginning of this, but I had to rewatch it because I missed the nugget right at the beginning, right? So I'm gonna play this clip right here, and then I'm gonna get your thoughts. We're gonna kind of break down what we see.
The Sons are said to be working at the behest of the rogue Amazonian and reputed sorceress Circe.
So, I mean, it's a lot of exposition there front, but this is all important what they're saying.
Absolutely.
Sons of Themyscira, so we're thinking of Themyscira. Circe, again, we understand she's an antagonist, longtime antagonist of Wonder Woman and Hippolyta, depending on the version.
And I want to say this while you're saying that, because I said on my pre-initial earlier this morning, this is one of Wonder Woman's top in her rogues gallery. And Gunn is bringing her into Creature Commandos. I need people to understand this. Off the top. You're using Diana as one of her top enemies in her rogues gallery. And he's using her. That right off the top, if you are a true hardcore DC fan, is mind-blowing just by itself. All right? Just by itself. Yeah. He's going to play a little bit more, but right.
Circe is a big character, like you're saying. This isn't a small thing that did, and leading off, again, the DCU with her. And then just on a side note, the comic readers, if you're reading Absolute Wonder Woman, they flip the story and make Circe Diana's mother, And he raised her baby. So Circe is an important person. That's the point where we're trying to make here. Like, this isn't just some throwaway character, right? That Gunn is putting here, and then the connections are there. But this is another. I'm gonna go further here because a little Easter egg here. I'm like, oh, hold up. Circe claims to be right here on the left for Metropolis Police Department. She faced Superman already, Prime.
The beginning of the episode has so many Easter eggs, and it puts everything into perspective. So you actually, once you hear it, then you would know it. And yes, she was in Metropolis. Her and Cal, they got into something. We don't know what it is, but they got
went down. It already went down, right? So I was like, whoa! I'm like, not only this is Circe, which again I think is going to be a huge character.
Yes.
Then he's building a history right here. I'm like, oh man. So she done been in something already, man. So I thought that was real interesting there and see the rest of this clip.
The rightful heir to the throne of the perhaps mythical mythical, perhaps real, all-female
Pause
island
that.
nation of them.
So they don't know Wonder Woman yet. Well, go ahead. The
But
world
this is the
don't.
key.
The world
But
don't
this is
know
the,
Wonder Woman.
right. But
Yeah.
this is the key thing that y'all need to look at. Look at the Amazons.
Mhm.
He have them looking like Amazons. They are exotic. They're not that woke type. He got them
They're supposed
looking
to be
like
goddesses.
Amazons. They're looking like goddesses. They're looking like true Amazons. That's the key that you need to look out. So now you know exactly what Paradise Lost has. Now you have an idea now on where they're going with it and what it's going to look like. And
I like the. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
And the key thing I need people to fully understand on this too is that what makes this whole thing good is the first thing that should stand out to people is the animation. If the
Great
animation looks good, it draws you in. See, the way the animation is supposed to look, that's what's going to draw you in. If the animation wasn't all that great, it's not that appealing to you. Okay, because the way the style of the animation can look can throw certain people off. But that is the one thing that I looked at when I first looked at everything was the animation style. And now the story just hits. But now you have a perfect example in the depiction, and you have that visual of what the Amazons are going to look at. And he's not going to call it Paradise Island; he's going to call it the Mascara.
That's it. Yep. He's revealing. This is the first 2 minutes of the episode, right? He's revealing all kinds of stuff of this world of the DCU. So that is an interesting point there with the Mascara, instead of Paradise Island.
Mascara. Inside sources claim Circe has promised the Suns that once the downfall of Focolistan is achieved, she will lead them to conquer Themyscira.
So this is a setup after Creature Commandos. Circe is going to go attack Themyscira. Like this is Gunn is laying out the roadmap right here with the Circe connection to the story. And like I said, I don't think people was ready for that right off the top of the episode. It's like, dang, all this exposition. But this was all important, I think, in the beginning.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so good stuff right there. And like I said, that was just the first clip. Now, from here, we get, and again, this is the first episode, you get the usual setup of the story, like,
what a bunch of
how to set up the mission and stuff like that. This is stuff that, it's real straightforward. Get Rick Flag. We're doing use Task Force M instead of X. So this was all. I wasn't surprised how the story went. It was episode 1 for like a total setup episode. Outside of the X, you go back and watch the first minute, you get a lot of information. But from here, it's like, okay, get the team together. It was. I wasn't bored, but it was like, okay, you got to build out the team. Like, I guess I get it. Set up the mission.
And the things is that the key parts that people, because a lot of people don't pay attention to dialogue. They mention what happened in Peacemaker, and they also happened what actually happened in the Suicide Squad, because they talked about his son. She talked about his son, what actually happened to him, and the events that happened in the Suicide Squad, and then the events that actually happened in Peacemaker, because Waller's daughter,
outed her,
screwed her out.
Yep. Flag mentions that. He's like, yeah, after your daughter outed you, you can't use Task Force X, right? That's a quote right there he's saying. And then later she talks about Rick, his son, Rick Flag, right? So like I said, it was a straightforward episode. We understand why they want to protect that land, because the U.S. wants their oil, right? So it's just setting up standard of that. And so no big surprise of how that team came together. But the rest of it really, like I said, episode, I'll go to the next clip in episode 1, because we're talking about world building and setting up Gunn is setting up his world, his stakes. And he does this in a way with this fight between Phosphorus and Dr. Phosphorus and Rick Flag. Now, why I say that, Prime, is you're setting up, okay, this is a well-trained human, Rick Flag Sr. versus a meta. And these rules got to translate to live action, right? So these were some of the most impressive scenes to me, Prime, because it's showing you, okay, this is the power set of Dr. Phosphorus. Rick Flag, he couldn't just touch him. He had to use like oven mitts and stuff, as you see in the fight. And I thought this was a brilliant scene, right? Because it's like, again, this has to translate to real world. And I thought this was a real impressive scene, actually, just showing again, and this is the abilities of Phosphorus, and this and Rick Flag's a badass. You know, that's pretty much what this is showing.
And I'm glad that you pinpointed the observation as well, because I was saying the same thing. I'm like, Will, they really going all in to transfer this over to live action. The detail. That's what I'm talking about. The details. So, exactly. hey, all I and then he getting burnt. And then you go see all this. Oh my God, this is off the hook, bro. I love it.
And it's like, and it's like, I love how when Gunn does this, at first Rick Flag punches him, and he's like, it affects him. Like this got to translate over, right? This got to be a real fight. And so Rick Flag adapts, and again he has an oven mitt. And he's fighting with the oven mitt, right? You know what I'm saying? I was like, this was a perfect scene. So again, people probably thought it was just a silly fight for the remote controls. Like, no, Gunn is setting the rules of his world right here. Yes. I thought that was brilliant.
I mean, and then the thing is so bad. All I can say is,
yeah, it was some side things that happened. A part of my watch party, we definitely was picking up on everything with the princess and everything.
Man,
no, and I do think because at first you was like, okay, like, is this just like kind of like a filler side story or something? I think it's more to it than that. I really, really think it's more to her, because the Princess Ilana of that land, that's a new character that was created for the show, and I think it's more than meets the eye with her, Prime. I'm just guessing when I say that, but she not there just to smash. That's all she there for. Like, it's got to be something else with the princess, man.
No, she's there for more. I'm gonna let everybody figure that out. I'm not gonna tell y'all nothing.
It's something.
Okay, I'm not gonna tell y'all nothing. I'll just tell y'all, if y'all don't know DC and y'all don't know comics, then I'm just gonna let y'all just figure that out for yourself.
It's something there, because you don't go back to that like 2 times, and these are short episodes. So I'm like, okay, this has to mean really more than what we realize here. So we'll see what happens with her. And so again, the first episode, I thought it set up that world. The Circe part was the most interesting, because it just gives you that dialogue, for this new DCU world, and again, the Metropolis connection. So I was like, okay, I'm intrigued right now. So then we go into episode 2. Again, like I said, these breakdowns are gonna be short, y'all, because these are only 20 minutes. But that was you remember Gunn said beforehand, yeah, you're gonna have the team, they're on their mission, then we're gonna have flashbacks, right? So episode 2 was the bride flashback. And we had a lot of exposition with her and her backstory, and that's cool. Watch the episode; you'll see her whole backstory and stuff. What I wanted to get to, Prime, just like I said in episode 1, you're showing us the power sets. Yeah, let's see Circe versus the bride, right? Like now, we had Rick Flag, a well-trained human versus a meta. This is magic versus a meta, right? So again, Gunn is setting the rules of his world. Most people may not know the bride, Prime, right? This is one of those obscure characters, I think, for a lot of people.
Yes.
But we know she has enhanced strength.
Yes.
Just like Frankenstein. You know what I mean? So you've seen her power set right here. And she goes off and murks like half of these sons of Themyscira. This was an amazing scene, bro. This was amazing. I was sitting there like, bro. The bride, when she gets in live action, bro. Oh man.
Yeah, she's gonna be hard. People don't know. And this the thing. I think from the rest of the episodes, I think they're gonna tell everybody's backstory.
Yeah.
And they're just gonna fill it in. I think all the characters are gonna have their backstory. So you'll pretty much know, because right here it's off the hook. And now the relationship between Frankenstein and her, that got me, because it twisted me. I didn't know it was gonna be like that, though.
They changed. Now that was a change from the comics, right? Because when I was watching, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, they didn't go to like that. And again, these are obscure characters, so I get it. Gunn's gonna take, some measures, but they they were at least together in the comics. Then
yes,
something tore them apart. So that's what kind of I was like, okay, Gunn kind of changed that. Did that throw you off at all, or I mean, it was just for the story, right? I think Gunn.
It didn't throw me off. I wasn't expecting it, but I'm glad that he did that because for the simple fact because it makes the story interesting. Yeah. Because it makes it more interesting and what it was. It makes it a little bit more. I'm not going to say what happened. Y'all just got to watch it. When you watch it and you see it, it's like, how can I say it? I'll put it to you like this. Frankenstein is he's a stalker, dog.
Frankenstein's a punk. Well, yeah, no, like the audience here, they've already probably unseen it, so we can go all into it. But
okay, Frankenstein is a stalker.
It's showing it right here. It's showing it right here as far as these memories are inflicting there.
Yeah,
and, and Frankenstein went out like a hoe, man. Like he really did.
He just looked at him.
He really went out like a hoe, bro. Like I'm just, I love David Harbour. I think he's going to over there crying and stuff. But I think he's going to do great for the role. But I'm just the character itself, like, nah, he got hold, man.
Hey, it's tight. It's just tight,
That was a twist. That was a twist from the comics, though. I mean, if I'm gonna let people know that.
That's why I say it twisted me. It twisted me for the different. But I like that James did that. I do. Mm-hmm. I like that because why? It makes it more interesting. It makes it more interesting.
Spice it up some. Yeah,
you gotta spice it up some. I like that. You changed it up. I like that. The dynamic is still there. Now. Will that maintain? Why? Because he was chasing her for a long time.
Well, centuries, right? After this.
Right, for a long time. So her feelings, will they change? Will they change? Well, that's the question.
This is an image from the comic here. Again, they were a team on the comic. They were a loving couple.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
The comics. So that's what really I don't say it throw me off like in a negative way, but I'm just like, okay, this ain't okay. He's twisting the story. But then again, he's chasing all these years, and then at the end of the first episode, he's like, "Oh, my bride is back." So they're going to meet again.
Yes.
What does that mean? Like you said, does something change? I don't know.
Well, he's a psycho. You got to remember the dynamic that I'm looking at just from that. He was so obsessed of the doctor, which is his father. I can't even think the dude's name.
Yeah,
his father to make him a bride. And he stated that he already had a woman. And I guess that he was jealous. He was jealous because he had a woman. He wanted something of his own. But to come around, it backfired on him because she got feelings for the father instead. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting that at all.
That was a twist.
Right. And then with that twist, and then Frankenstein murdered his own dad.
Yeah, like this is a dark turn. And like I said, it was that montage where she's basically running away from Frankenstein for centuries since then.
Yes.
Up to present day. But what brought her back to this mansion?
That medallion.
They got that necklace. So what does that mean, right? And
yes.
How does that tie in? And then Frankenstein's coming back in. It's more to the story, I think, is the main point.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's more to the story.
Now, for all the other characters, I would say I like all of them. I like G.I. Robot. Oh my God, he was just cracking me up. And Weasel too. I wouldn't expect I was gonna like Weasel like that. Weasel was cracking me up the whole time, man.
We're gonna see more to all these guys. I really like I said, G.I. Robot. I think is a lot of people's favorite. I think his story is gonna be pretty cool. But Dr. Phosphorus was clowning.
Yeah, Dr. Phosphorus. Yeah.
I thought he was hilarious. Like the entire couple episodes there, bro. Like it was some good stuff. And again, you got some typical James Gunn stuff, but you could tell he's taking this more seriously than I thought he would. That's something that I'm like, okay, let's see what you got then.
Now, and my thing is, and Nina, she is caring, she's soft spoken, she's lovable. But my thing is that, will she crack?
No.
I'm not going to say anymore. See, oh my God, people, y'all just gotta just do y'all due diligence, okay? Y'all just gotta do y'all due diligence, because Nina is gonna do something. All right, Nina's gonna do something. So that's just me. But she's very soft spoken. I think she's more of the, not the. She's the more. She's very caring. I just put it like that. There's going to be more to her. I'll say that.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think we've only seen the surface of all these characters, and again, learning more about their backstory. It's like, okay, like if you remember in the trailer, it had the song "Misunderstood," and it was like a cover of that song. And I'm like, I'm wondering if like all these are they may be villains or anti-heroes, but maybe they were set up. Like when you find out their backstory, like, hey, maybe they ain't supposed to be in prison. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
Right.
So I want to see like just that underlining, like, oh, maybe we don't know these. Like with Weasel, he was supposed to murder 27 children, but when we see his backstory, maybe he was set up. You know what I'm saying?
That could be a possibility. That could be a possibility.
Yeah, it's
so
a lot.
It's a lot that. But like I said again, that's why I said Gunn is going to change a lot of the characters. He's probably going to change them, but at the same time, I love what he's doing with the characters. I really like it, and I believe, like I said, it's going to be more. Yeah, it's going to be more. I just want to see what they're going to do. For the third episode, I really who they're going to showcase. Well, let me see. How did it end? The second episode ended.
They had the stinger. If you watch the end of the credits, it showed next episode is GI robots. They're gonna go in his history. It showed the preview.
Okay, GI robots. Okay, yeah. So I didn't see that. I didn't see that part at the end. I didn't see that part. But like I said, I have
always at the very end. Yeah.
Right. So I have a full feeling that they're gonna do every character. They're gonna break them all down so everybody will know their history, have an understanding of the characters, and then they go from there. Because I think a lot of people are really gonna like the bride. It all depends on who you like. So everybody's gonna have somebody that they're going to like. Me personally, so far, I didn't think I was gonna like GI Robot like that.
Oh yeah. I'm a big fan of him instantly. I was like, okay, this dude just wants to take out some Nazis. That's all. Everybody want to shoot everybody. He's like, oh, is he a Nazi? Is this a Nazi right here? I'm like, bro, anytime somebody did something weird, like, oh, flag, is this a Nazi? Like, do I gotta take this dude? I was like, yes, I like that. Right? So we gonna see his backstory and people. You heard those stories of Sergeant Rock.
I was about to say that. Sergeant Rock is going to be part of this. I believe Sergeant Rock is going to be part of this. Yeah.
That's going to be cool to see that backstory because we're hearing, people putting out rumors that they're going to do a Sergeant Rock film and it's going to be in that time period. Mm-hmm. This episode 3 may actually set up the film. So I'm like, oh, that's interesting, right?
Yeah. And I need people. I need people to understand too, is that now with this, and now since I see everything now, Gunn is really he's doing a DC world. He's going with, like I said before, he's going with the 6th and 5th tier characters and bring them forward and mix them up with the 1s in the 2 tiers and mix them up. And bring all those lower characters that you don't know nothing about. If you're not a real DC fan and don't really know about this stuff, you're gonna learn now because of this. And there's no point in you getting mad about it because this is all DC. This is all DC.
If you're a DC Comics fan, I'm gonna kind of flip
DC
what you're
Comics
saying.
fan. I'll put it like
You're digging into everything because again, this exposition with Circe, I'm like, oh, okay, it's showing her backstory. It's setting up something like, okay, I see the comic connection right off the top. So you should be eating with this show if you're a DC Comics fan, in my opinion. With that, so we'll see how that comes about. One last thing I want to kind of throw out there. Now we're not going to really talk about this too much, but they released a season trailer for Creature Commandos with a glimpse that everyone's talking about on the timeline, a nightmare future. Prime. This is a Nightmare Future Gunn is putting in Creature Commandos where you see right there. There's an alternate reality where Superman is captured or died or what's going on. Starfire. They say that's Starfire on the left, impaled. You got Mr. Terrific on the right, impaled. So again, this is like the Darkest Timeline type stuff, right?
Okay, so there were after credits at the end.
Yeah, okay. There's like some tiny thing gonna happen where you're gonna see this, similar to what Snyder did. He showed you the Nightmare Future. This is a DC trope. That's what people gotta understand. DC does that. It can do this. You know what I mean? Go to that angle. And need Peacemaker on the bottom right there, as well. So I'm gonna break down that trailer real soon. But I was wondering if you saw that image. It's been floating around here.
Okay, now I'm seeing it. I didn't see anything at the end. I didn't even look at the credits all the way through. I didn't even watch it. I just, once the credit was over, I went straight to the next episode, then I stopped. I didn't think there was going to be an after credit. So, hey, well, now that I know, then I'm already to stay for. Like they got the after credit. So now that I'm seeing, hold on, I'm going to freeze that frame.
Oh, hold on.
Okay. Yeah, freeze that frame. Okay. I'm seeing it in clear. Oh, let me go back so I can I'm going to grab it. So so that is a lot of people talking about that's David corenswet.
Yep. That's super. That's definitely his shield. Like that's
Yeah.
And again, it's some kind of some kind of dark timeline. They try to make in the trailer, because again, the season trailer is out as well. Like people talking about it on the internet, and it makes it seem like it's tied to Circe. Maybe it's some kind of illusion she's giving someone. That's what I'm thinking. Okay. But because Circe's pretty powerful, so
she is. She's very powerful.
She can warp reality. You know what I mean? But it's just kind of cool little Easter eggs. There's like, oh, okay, Starfire. Like I said, Mr. Terrific. You tell by his pants and his jacket. The ones in the back, they're obscure.
Now my thing is, if people are tripping over this, I don't see what the big deal is. Everybody is overreacting. All I'm seeing all I'm thinking right now is that just about looking at it now, like you said, it's an alternate reality. It's Circe doing something, or it's something that could potentially happen in the DCU, maybe further on down the line. I'm like way down the line. Now, if you looking at the picture and y'all really paying attention, Starfire and Peacemaker, they're deceased. Cal is not.
True. At least it appears like he's still,
Cal is not.
In there.
Now, how he got that way, that's going to be the question for me. Because the only way he's going to get in that state, unless, kryptonite.
Does that look like a red sun to you? Right? I'm kind of thinking. I'm just kind of thinking as we're looking at this, like. But again,
that's a possibility. It could be a blast.
This is just like a Darkest Timeline thing or an illusion, but it's intriguing. It's like, how do you take down Superman if it's not kryptonite? A red sun, right?
Red sun, yes. But I'm not flipping out over it. I'm more intrigued just by looking at that. Okay, where is it going? And everybody tripping out. Like, why? Why y'all tripping out?
Well, you know the usual thing. People want to compare stuff, and again, this is so DC to me. This is like, oh yeah, show the darkest timeline ever. Like, show like if you don't stop this, if you don't stop Circe, this could happen, right?
Yeah.
And what could she do to bring? And again, if that's even her, there could be a bigger bad involved. But
that could be true. It could.
I just find this intriguing. I think it's a misdirection and stuff that's being.
Wait a minute, is that Mr. Terrific down there?
That's Mr. Terrific on the right. Yeah.
Okay, that's Mr. Terrific. On the right, that's Starfire. That's Cal. I'm still trying to find out who these two in the back. I know Peacemaker on the bottom.
Yeah, it's too obscure. People was trying to say that's Wally West in between Superman and Mr. Terrific, but I can't make that out. I can't. They can't make that out.
I ain't gonna really. It's not. Yeah. The thing is that I'm not listening to anybody that's really blowing stuff out of proportion, because now the way the DCU is really starting off and the way this is going right now, I was already invested. I mean, you already had, it has my attention now. Now you fully have my attention.
Okay, like
you have my full
let's see what you
attention.
got.
You know, you piqued my interest. My interest was there because I'm a DC Comics dude. My interest was already there. Now you got my attention. So
now it's like, okay.
So that's the only thing that people need to understand now is that you're gonna have to enjoy it. So, but hey, it is what it is, you know. So it is what it is. I can't wait for the next couple episodes. So
yeah, man. Like I said, you know, every Thursday they're gonna drop these episodes. We got 5 more. So like if it works out, man, I'll try to reach out to you on these Thursdays that, you know, break down the new episodes as far as, you know, any Easter eggs or something.
That's no problem. That is no problem.
Yeah.
But like I said, but if y'all watching this and y'all haven't watched it already, gladly go ahead and start watching. All right. Y'all have to start watching the DC content. Watch the Penguin. Watch this. Watch all the new stuff. Y'all have to watch. This stuff is fantastic.
Yeah. This is a new dawn of, you know, the DCU, man, and you know, DC fans. A bunch of content is coming out now. So that's, you know, that should be exciting. That should be exciting, man.
No doubt. DC about to take DC is taking the crown, man. DC is taking the crown. DC is taking the crown.
It's right there for them. You know, they got time to get their act together here, like put out that quality content, and it's a wrap.
Man. Because the books is hitting. The Absolute series is hitting.
Man, I just read the Justice League Unlimited, Prime. I just read that one. Bro, like I'm like, man, I'm sorry. DC is so on top right now. It's not even fair, bro. It's not even fair what they're doing in the comics right now. Like,
and it's crazy. It's crazy. And even with the Absolute series right now, Wonder Woman, I mean, Superman is doing well. Batman just killing it right now, which I already knew. Batman is killing it. If y'all
saw his Batmobile, bro. You see, bro, man. I'm like, it's over. It's over, bro. Everybody, if you have not read Absolute Batman, go to your comic book shop right now. Go get Absolute Batman.
Yeah, and Absolute Superman, it's great. And Wonder Woman, hey, the Trinity part is already tight, y'all. Ain't even a question, man. It's doing well, y'all. And if you really want to get into, you know, like I say, read the comics, man. Read the damn books. Just read the books. You read the books. You get immersed, and then you go from there. But
you got monsters.